Good morning and welcome to Live in a Greenhouse on YouTube. If you're new here, this channel is about my journey to design, build, and then live in the first greenhouse enclosed tiny home in the United States. Normally I post the month-end walk-around on the last Sunday of the month, so this video was actually shot last weekend, but a power outage prevented my finish editing and upload, so here we are. Although February in the Pacific Northwest was warmer than much of the United States, it finally got below freezing for a couple weeks. Inside the greenhouse doesn't have supplemental heating, but with only a few exceptions, stayed above freezing. Every greenhouse enclosed home in the world that has a comment section on social media gets a lot of questions about mold. For about the first year, I checked all of the areas inside and outside the house that would be susceptible to mold and published the outcome on a video section called Mold Watch and also on my blog. The link is in the description down below. To grow, black mold requires humidity above 60%, but even with the relatively high humidity inside the greenhouse with the roof closed, inside the house averaged in the 40 to 50% range and only peaked at 59%. I'm still trying to figure out how to export data from the indoor air quality control device, but all measures of indoor air quality are in the good range, including CO2. Even with the cold, I was able to work on some projects outside and inside the greenhouse this month. The stonemason finished just a couple days ago, so there's a big improvement to show this month. So if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe so YouTube will show it to more viewers, and come along today for a lot of progress inside and outside the greenhouse. Winter in the Pacific Northwest is generally overcast and rainy and gloomy. But when we look closely, there are signs of new growth everywhere. January started the process to convert this area into a wildlife-attracting meadow that continued in February to transplant mounds of grass to the deer bedding area. Clear out stones and brambles, and seed with a mixture of native flowers and grasses. And some already starting to sprout. Bulbs are peeking up in the ramp garden. And leaf buds are starting on the lilac. The bulbs are mostly crocus, daffodils, and other varieties that deer don't like to eat. I was sort of surprised and not surprised that the deer breached this fence. I never expect this wire to keep out a determined deer, but the deer are not starving in this area. They're opportunists, so I hoped this wire would be more annoying than it was worth to get to the tree. No sign of new nibbling or rubbing, so it may have been more curiosity than anything else. This is a lower priority garden area, so I probably won't do much more here until later in the summer. Not much happening down here, except March will probably start the spring cleanup of winter-downed branches and stuff. It was too cold most of the month to want to work out here, but did spread a bale of straw for erosion and mud control. Didn't get to any projects inside the workroom, but it is coming in handy to be able to move stuff out of the greenhouse and to find my tools in one place. I needed to move some rocks and dirt out of the stonemason's way, so a few more rocks were added to this border and starting to add dirt to the edge to prepare for planting next month. It's still raining more than I'm using water, so the tanks are still full. Here's the biggest change this month. Paved walkways from the bedroom and living room doors to each of the greenhouse doors that finally bring most of the interior to final grade that's level with the house doors. The Sam Houston peach is here to provide afternoon shade to the house and pool, so I'm letting it grow taller than it would if it were grown just for fruit. It got its chill hours this month, and indoor temperature should start reaching 70 degrees in March, so I'll prune it this week for height and form. Not really sure what happened to the calamandan, but it's come back from near death a few times. It'll soon move back to its home next to the olive. I'll also bring in dirt to level this area with the pavers and take off this temporary edging. Nothing happened with the pool as it was too cold to work on the patch. Unlike last year, it didn't get below freezing long enough inside for the surface to freeze this year. Not much happened in this area over February. The stonemason finished only a couple days ago, so I haven't had time to put this stuff back in the potting bench area. Although I did dig up the potatoes in this area. I've just been letting the beets, leeks, carrots, and asparagus grow to see how it does through the winter. But this year's planting plan is very different from last year, so these will all get pulled during March to prepare for this year's plants. Same with this bed. I'll pull the last of the leeks and bunching onions to make way for different plants coming soon. The olive had been in a raised bed, but this will be the new finished grade after I bring in more dirt to level this area before moving the calamandan back. This had been the holding area for potted plants until they could move to their final home. These beds will get a fresh layer of compost before planting next month. Last year, I'd often wished I had a comfortable place to sit, to look at and think about the food garden. So instead of another planting bed, a bench will move to this area. Access to the bench was blocked for most of the month, but it's now ready to start seeds. Hope I can still find my heating mats. This area was raised about 5 inches and leveled. Making it easier for the cat to access her door without the stool. Also meaning the perimeter bed is no longer a raised bed, so I don't need to replace the border boards. Yay! These dianthus are toxic to cats, so they'll move outside. Already easier maintenance since the cat zoomies no longer throw up sand and chips. I'll clean up this white sage that took a little damage from the freezing, but looks like it'll recover. We hosed down this area after running materials through for a few weeks. I'll wait a couple more days for the concrete to dry before laying the rug back down and resetting the furniture. This bench has moved around the last 2 years trying to find the right place. I like it here as both a landing zone when bringing in loads of groceries and also to take off wet or muddy shoes without walking on the rug. So Brian also laid stone for the bench to sit on. And there you have it. After more than 2 years, a major piece of infrastructure and upgrade to livability is done. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And come back next time as the garden moves to center stage.